It seems like every day I'm saying, wow, I can't believe this happened. Breaking news. And I don't want to overdo that, but we have serious news. The J6 committee is getting more aggressive and they are openly violating the First Amendment rights of certain content creators, and that means they're violating the First Amendment rights of every American. We're not on a good path. And I know that the people who believe in the J6 committee, they feel like they are almost like an animal trapped in a corner. They're going to do anything and everything. They are going to do anything and everything leading up to the midterms. We talked about it. These creators that I'm going to mention here in a second talked about it. They knew that this was going to happen. The midterms are coming up, and whether there is a red wave or not, clear that they're going to try to get everything done that they want to get done before then, and they're going to be very thoughtful about their approach. So if you don't know what's going on, I'm going to play in a little bit a clip from the J6 hearing today, just a little bit over an hour before right now that I found out about it, where they played clips from Salty Cracker, Alex Jones, Tim Pool, and then another gentleman I am not familiar with. Is it Matt Bracken? Matt Bracken, I'm not familiar with him. So YouTube can go do what they need to do, but I'm not here. That's why I like to make it clear that I am for peace. Now, anybody can clip any type of clip, and they could make me look like a radical, violent extremist. It's impossible to prevent that, especially if you're on video on camera talking. They can clip 2 seconds, 5 seconds, clip out the piece, will clip out this and make you look like some type of lunatic. We all know that. But it's still important to me to clarify. And they took advantage of these creators. And what they're really doing is, Trump famously said it, they're not after me, they're after you. So they're not after Salty Cracker, they're after Salty Army. That's who they're after. And when you say Salty Army, this isn't like a real army, this is a community. They are an army in the culture war, in this informational battle, for sure, informationally, but not that. Ooh, man, the things are crazy. I'll play the clip here, just giving a second to have everybody come in and see. I'm kind of like I'm kind of like, man, this is crazy. We knew Tim Pool. The clips you're going to see here, Tim Pool was on in this. And Tim Pool is very specific with his words. They didn't get anything on him. Alex Jones was on this. They didn't get anything on him. I don't know, Matt. I'll skip Matt Bracken. I'm going to play the clip. And just so YouTube knows, I'm not condoning anything. I'm just sharing what the J6 committee was playing. So I'm going to skip over the Matt Bracken because I don't know him, and it's the context, so you can take it however you want to take it. I know Alex Jones, Tim Pool, and Salty Cracker. I've spent hours upon hours listening to all of them. I can speak about them, and I roll with all of them as far as listening to their shows. great shows, great personalities. So let me just play this. I might have to cut this one short because I don't want to get banned. So let me just see if I can play this one. And I'm not really an emotional dude, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to hang on this live too long. This is yeah. We can't. I don't know. We can't continue like this. It's not going to continue like this. That's for sure. I don't know what's going to happen. I hope it's
After
peaceful.
the last participants left.
But we cannot continue as a country like this. It will not happen. We can't survive. So that's why I said we need to peacefully divorce, man. Because this type of stuff here, I don't know what this is. This is the J6 committee, just lumping people in together. Just, I don't know.
After the last participants left the unhinged meeting, Trump sent out the tweet with his explosive invitation. Trump repeated his big lie and claimed it was, quote, statistically impossible to have lost the 2020 election before calling for a big protest in D.C. on January 6th. Be there, will be wild. Trump supporters responded immediately. Women for America First, a pro-Trump organizing group, had previously applied for a rally permit for January 22nd and 23rd in Washington, D.C., several days after Joe Biden was to be inaugurated. But in the hours after the tweet, they moved their permit to January 6th, 2 weeks before. This rescheduling created the rally where Trump would eventually speak. The next day, Ali Alexander, leader of the Stop the Steal organization and a key mobilizer of Trump supporters, registered wildprotest.com, named after Trump's tweet. Wildprotest.com provided comprehensive information about numerous newly organized protest events in Washington. It included event times, places, speakers, and details on transportation to Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, other key Trump supporters, including far-right media personalities, began promoting the wild protest on January 6th.
It's Saturday, December 19th. The year is 2020. And one of the most historic events in American history has just taken place. President Trump, in the early morning hours today, tweeted that he wants the American people to march on Washington, D.C. on January 6th, 2021.
And now Donald Trump is calling on his supporters to descend on Washington, D.C., January 6th.
He is now calling on we, the people, to take action and to show our numbers.
We're going to only be saved by millions of Americans moving to Washington, occupying the entire area, if necessary, storming right into the Capitol. You know, we know the rules of engagement. If you have enough people, you can push down any kind of a fence or a wall.
This could be Trump's last stand. And it's a time when he has specifically called on his supporters to arrive in D.C. That's something that may actually be the big push Trump supporters need to say, this is it. It's now or never.
You better understand something, son. You better understand something. Red wave, bitch. Red wave. This is going to be a red wedding going down January 6th.
On that day, Trump says, show up for a protest. It's going to be wild. And based on what we've already seen from the previous events, I think Trump is absolutely correct.
Motherfucker, you better look outside. You better look out January 6th. Kick that fucking door open. Look down the street. There's going to be a million plus geeked up armed Americans.
The time for games is over. The time for action is now. Where were you when history called? Where were you when you and your children's destiny and future was on the line?
In that clip, you heard one of Trump's supporters predict a red wedding, which is a pop culture reference to mass slaughter. But the point is that Trump's call to Washington reverberated powerfully and pervasively online. The committee has interviewed a former Twitter employee.
So I did watch the hearing, or not the whole thing, just this segment here. After this, they had a Twitter employee on there talking about how they were concerned about Donald Trump's influence on others. That's where he was going to go there. Eddie Sanchez, this is about you. Salty Army, the power of it. This is so relevant to the live I just got off of with Eric July. I talked about the power. What's happening with Eric July in the Rippaverse is showing the power of community from Eric July, like the hard work, talent, all that, and power of community. What they are afraid of, the J6 committee, the establishment, they are afraid that these communities, Eddie Sanchez in the chat, Angela in the chat, JP in the chat, it's about you. Rock in the chat. And people are saying, well, I've heard way worse from the other side. They don't. We are in a post-truth time in our world. Definitely in the US, but from what I'm reading in the world, it's post-truth. The truth doesn't matter anymore. This committee has literally been a part of lies that they had to retract. I'm not going to get too off track on that. But it doesn't matter. There's a lot to unpack with this video. And I want to go back into this a little and stop it.
After the last part, to calling for a.
So they mentioned Peter Navarro. So notice in our country right now, we just announced more money overseas. More money, more taxpayer money going overseas. Where's this money coming from? We don't have the money. That's where your inflation comes from. It's just out of thin air, poof, out of thin air. Borrow it, figuratively, digitally print it. The people who are talking against this, the most powerful ones, have gotten hemmed up. Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, and others. So now they're like, okay, the people who have more power than those are the people who affect culture. Tim Pool doesn't just do his show anymore. He's trying to branch out into like other things, pop culture, his Tales from the Inverted World culture. He's a lefty milquetoast skateboard dude, and they tried to use him on this. Why? It's obviously not because he's some rabid Trump supporter. If you watch him, he's not that. He's not anti-Trump. But he's not any MAGA. That's for, I will say MAGA in a different way, but not in that traditional, like, salty way, He's not that. That's why you see beef. Sometimes beef. I don't think there should be, but you see, Salty's army kind of like Tim's a little soft. And you'd probably say the same thing about me. Milquetoast. I'm not, I'll be left on some positions, not. But the thing about Tim Pool, and I would consider myself as well, I have nothing against Salty Army. I love the energy. And they are more culturally relevant than, I'm trying to think who's more culturally relevant in this political battle. It's Eric July is now, with the comic book. Salty is like right up there. That's why they're on the video with J6 committee. This is our taxpayer dollars. This is like this whole narrative. They bring up Salty Cracker. So don't tell me that I'm crazy because I say Salty Army has cultural power. Why else would they be bringing them up? In the J6 committee. Bryson Gray brought up on the hit list as well, the prior one. Because he's a hip hop guy. He's getting too much like, oh, people are listening to him. I'm going to go through this.
Big protest in D.C. on January 6th. There.
I did a video, and this is one of my biggest regrets. I never recorded it. I never saved my own copy. I had at that part, I was really new, like a couple months into doing YouTube, and I had a video that was called, we had Trump up and then there's a rally behind him, and I called it MAGA's Last Stand, going into J6. I wasn't trying to promote any, like, well, I was indirectly promoting but I wasn't trying to get people to go to J6. I was talking about what's happening in our country. Like pretend we're in a different universe on a different planet. If you have a president of a country and you've got all this leaked stuff about his family, and it ties them into things that we should be concerned about, illegal potential activities, and you walk around like it's not happening, it's still happening. And that's what was going on. That's why I did that video. I'm like, people are walking around like J6 isn't going to happen. I didn't know what was going to go down. Nobody did. And I'm like, wait, we got to look at this. This is getting crazy. That's what that video was about, and the YouTube took it down. I don't think they even gave me a strike. They just took it down, which was weird. Or maybe there was just one of those general community warnings. But my point is, I'm just some random dude, not even at their, close to their level, and I was talking about it. Here.
Will be wild. Trump supporters responded immediately. Women for America First, organizing Ali Alexander, leader of the Stop the Steal organization and a key mobilizer of registers on transportation to Washington, D.C. Meanwhile, other key Trump supporters, including far-right media personalities, began promoting the wild protest on January 6th.
It's Saturday, December 19th. The year is 2020. And one of the most historic events in American history has just taken place.
So this is a violation of our First Amendment rights, is what the government's doing. The government has no right to compel a company. What they're doing is compelling any company that does business. And this is what I was talking about with the Eric July stuff. I don't know if you know, with the Eric July and the Rippaverse, that Reddit, people were trying to talk about Eric July and promote his comic book on Reddit, and the subreddit took it off, and they said it was hate. They were trying to promote something from a hate speech or a hate comic book or something like that. This is to put pressure on any platform. Alex Jones has to do business with somebody. He can't be completely independent. And then Tim Pool's on YouTube. This is a direct message from the cabal establishment. The only people that these companies would respect, they don't respect MAGA. So these Republicans and Democrats, the only people they're supposed to respect, are telling them, we don't want, look at the people you put on your platform. So they're calling now anybody who platforms them supremacists and this and that. That is a violation of the First Amendment. Alex Jones said nothing wrong here.
President Trump, in the early morning hours today, tweeted that he wants the American people to march on Washington, D.C. on January 6, 2021.
And now Donald Trump is calling on his supporters to descend on Washington, D.C., January 6th.
I wonder how many hours of video they had to comb through to find those clips of Tim Pool, and they still didn't find one of him slipping up. That's crazy. That's the most damning quote you could find from Tim Pool. What? He sounds like a journalist you would expect to be on CNN. He's just telling the news. This is what you found from Tim Pool after who knows how long they spent on it, but they had to do some type of research. That's the most damning thing you could find on Tim Pool.
And now Donald Trump is calling on his supporters to descend on Washington, D.C.
Donald Trump is calling on his supporters to descend on Washington, D.C. He's just stating what's happening. Why is that even brought up? This is, I want to say it's illegal, but what does it mean to violate the Constitution anymore if we don't care about it? How is the government bringing up this speech and saying that it's inciting insurrection? That he's just reporting what's already happening. Dieter, no, I did not get to watch it yet. I do have it on my list though to watch. Just so much breaking and going on, man. The Young July stuff, now this. He's just reporting. Thanks for the super chat, Dieter Andrew. Tomorrow, he's just reporting. Jamie Raskin is, that's who is leading this part of the committee here. He is one of the dirtiest, most grimiest. They got the grimy all-stars on the J6 committee. They've got some of the most grimiest representatives on there. They have of course Cheney, of course Kinzinger, like really grimy people, really like dirty, all of them, really dirty people, and we have no recourse. What are we going to do? People voted them in. Kevin McCarthy famously pulled back and said, if you're not going to accept all of our people, I'm not going to send any to the committee, which I didn't know if that was a bad or good deal now, but either way, it works where you have no representation on there. You know, Jim Banks wasn't on there. Jim Jordan wasn't on there. So you're left with a committee put together by Pelosi, one of the dirtiest politicians that has ever lived. You've got Benny Thompson, who's just another race hustling. I'm sorry. No, I don't need it. Benny Thompson is a clown. I mean, he literally is just nothing but the black face of this committee. He's supposed to be running it. He doesn't do anything substantial. Liz Cheney, if you were just to look at it, you would think Liz Cheney was running it. Benny Thompson is just an embarrassment. Liz Cheney, of course. What do you want to say about that? Adam Schiff, one of the dirtiest politicians of all time, known liar, proven liar. Jamie Raskin, he lied about Tesla too. Man. Whoo, these are some bad people, like some bad people who they'll do whatever they need to do to maintain power. Very smart, don't think they're stupid. You got to take these people seriously. Joseph says, used to be my congressman. I can't even look at his face without getting pissed off. Can't lie. Me neither, man. I can't. And I want to separate the person from the action, and that is getting more and more difficult to do. Instead of helping Maryland, he's doing more political BS here, or BS theater. Thank you, Joseph. Member of the channel. Appreciate it. Only $1. Appreciate you. Whoo! Things are getting heated, man. Can't wait to watch Tim Pool. Can't wait for Salty. Can't wait for that next Salty stream, man. But I want to go through this a little bit more.
January 6th.
He is now calling on we, the people, to take action and to show our numbers.
Alex Jones did nothing but peace here. I'm going to skip over this. I don't know. I can't talk about him. I don't know what this Matt Bracken, nothing against him. I don't know him. He has InfoWars on. I don't know. I'm not familiar with him, so I can't speak on him. I do listen to Alex Jones. So let me go to Tim Pool here.
Trump's last stand. And it's a time.
I literally that was literally the title of the thumbnail of the video that got pulled down that I did. I think it was, when was J6? What day was that? That was like a Monday? I think it was the Friday. And it was actually at that time, my best video. I wasn't getting many. I had probably 50 subscribers, maybe 100, maybe. And that video had like 200 views. And I was just talking about how things were, as usual, how things were escalating, and, the election at the time and all that. But continuing with Tim Pool.
This could be Trump's last stand. And at the time when he has specifically called on his supporters to arrive in D.C. That's something that may actually be the big push Trump supporters need to say, this is it.
So again, you see Tim Pool is very precise with his with his words. He said nothing there. He didn't call for anything or anything like that. Now we're gonna get to Salty in a second.
It's now or never.
You better understand something, son. You better understand something. Red wave, bitch. Red wave. This is going to be a red wedding going down.
So here's where, and I have nothing but love for Salty and Salty Army, but that's where I want to be careful. I don't want anything to be misconstrued. Salty is a peaceful dude. If you don't know, one of the best videos to kind of get into his head is when he was on with Viva and Robert Barnes just a couple months ago. That was an unbelievable stream. Write that down to go to Viva Free. It's Viva Free or Fry and Robert Barnes channel, lawyer Robert Barnes. Great channel, amazing channel. Go and look for the Salty interview. It was outstanding. But I will say, it's too, they took a little clip here. And so we don't know what he said before, after. Maybe if Salty people could comment on it. I wish he would not have brought that up. So I don't know the context. I give him the benefit of the doubt because I know he's peaceful. I rock with him, love the show. But I'm a little bit more careful than that. I try to be, at least.
Understand something, son. You better understand something. Red wave, bitch. Red wave.
Now that's a new sample. Red wave, bitch. Red wave. That should be a shirt. I love his energy. I'm gonna play a clip. I actually clipped him up and his energy, man, is just so good.
You better understand something, son. You better understand something. Red wave, bitch. Red wave. This is going to be a red wedding going down January 6th.
On that day, Trump says, show up.
So you see what they did. So they put that red wedding clip in there, took it, that's it. We didn't hear really what he said before or after or any time else in the stream. It's not like he didn't call for it. And then you sandwich it between Alex Jones and Tim Pool. The people watching this, these are the people who watch CNN and think it's truth. They look at this and now they lump everybody in this video together. And then they lump YouTube in with it, and Rumble and every platform that they're on. And then you watching this right now and me, we get lumped into it as well. It's like what's happening?
Well, for a protest, it's gonna be wild. And based on what we've already seen from the previous events, I think Trump is absolutely correct.
Motherfucker, you better look at.
They should have gave. That's not a diss. If Tim knew, why didn't y'all know? I don't know if they thought that was a diss or what, but that didn't work out well for them. And then here, I have absolutely no problem with what Salty said here. What did he say wrong here?
Motherfucker, you better look outside. You better look out January 6th. Kick that fucking door open. Look down the street. It's going to be a million plus.
Warning, graphic content. They had Salty on TV. They had Salty on TV. Oh my gosh. That is surreal. Stepping away from how evil they are. And the white pill thing is, it probably is only going to help boost him. Now, the concern is I think YouTube is going to, I hope not YouTube. I'm not even going to go there. I hope that doesn't happen.
Absolutely correct.
Motherfucker, you better look outside. You better look out January 6th. Kick that fucking door open. Look down the street. It's going to be a million plus geeked up armed Americans.
He didn't say anything wrong there. He didn't tell anybody to do anything violent. Man, to step away for a second with Salty, how good he is, man. He has that energy throughout his whole life, all the time. I'm listening to him. I'm like, you don't understand how talented some of these people are. You don't, until you get a mic and try to talk, you don't know how hard it is to do and how much work and research and mental fortitude it takes to do that and to do it live and day after day after day, hours after hours after hours, and then they clip little too. That's the worst you could find. That's the worst you could find after hours and hours and talking and talking and talking. That's the worst you could find from these guys. That's a testament to them. It really is a testament to how even though I think Salty's obviously closer to that line, a testament to how they don't cross the line. If you don't know Salty, that's how his live is. It's that hype. Like, I don't know how you could even be that hype that long. There's not enough coffee that could get me that hype for that long. And it's not like it's overbearing, like there's ups and downs. And, he knows when to pause and when to read the story and when to, just so good, man. So good. So I'm going to stop there, take a look at some of the comments. You get the gist of it. I'm not giving this crap anymore. Leeway. Can't wait to see what Tim Pool and them have to say about it. You know what the real concern is of Tim Pool? He's platforming people that they don't want to be platformed. That's the real problem. We just had Carrie Lake on. So they're trying to defame Carrie Lake for many different reasons. And guess who platforms her? Tim Pool. Second time. I knew who Carrie Lake was from The Hunter. Carrie Lake, man, I've been chatting with people online about Carrie Lake, and I'm happy. Let me just say I'm happily married. But people have been talking about Carrie Lake as far as just, she's impressive. She's the one that had the Hunter Biden line, and then she's pretty. I thought I had that drop on here. Yep, here it is.
You really need to put down the crack pipe. Hunter's crack pipe.
Carrie Lake, go get him. But Tim, what other platform as big as Tim Pool could Carrie Lake get platformed on? Name one. I'll wait. There isn't one. I'll answer that I'm aware of. War Room. I think Tim Pool is probably bigger than War Room. Joe Rogan doesn't mess with that kind of stuff, and Joe Rogan's great. Don't get me wrong, but he won't have Marjorie Taylor Greene on and stuff like that. There's no one. So that's why they're going after Tim Pool. They would go after you and they would go after me. The only difference is we don't have the influence that Tim Pool has. That's the only thing protecting us. And they really are trying to go after us. So they say that about Salty. What do they think about you if you put salt in the chat? They think the same thing about you. So we gotta go stand up and speak out and tell the truth about these people. That's why I'm very big about the Nick Fuentes telling the truth about him as far as his content. There's a lot of stuff outside of like the things he says that people like or don't like. I don't care. I mean, I'm not his friend. He's not my family member. I'm just talking about the content on his stream. You can talk about whatever else outside that. I don't know Salty. I'm talking about the content on his stream. I don't know Tim Pool. I'm talking about the content on their stream. Alex Jones. Salty Army is Legion. Yeah. That's the problem. That's their problem. And they're like, he's done it based on the YouTube platform, and he's bigger than YouTube now. He's one of the biggest dudes on Rumble. And these people are great marketers. They're great marketers, and the content that they put out is not, there's no way to contain it and to stop it. So they can't, there's no marketing that Raskin can do to counter what Tim Pool or Salty does. So this is what they got to do. It is a sign that they're losing. You wouldn't have a hearing about J6, and really it's all about Donald Trump. You would not have that and put Tim Pool, Alex Jones, and Salty Cracker on there if you are winning. That's not a winning move. That's pathetic. You think the agencies are working hard to find out who's swatting these guys? I mentioned before, it's more likely that they're in on the swatting than they would find who's doing the swatting. Way more likely. I'm not alleging anything. I'm just saying hypothetically, that's what I would bet on. I think about this every day, man. The bombastic rapscallion says, what happened to America, man? I'm finding out a lot of the stuff that I grew up with was all a facade. So this is not just a new thing. Trump escalated things, but the big thing was There was no third party ever growing up. There was never a true third party. It was one party. I don't think there's been a true third party president since Andrew Jackson. And there was beef, the same type of beef with Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson came in and was wrecking shop and challenging the status quo. That's who I would compare Trump more to Andrew Jackson than Ronald Reagan. The only thing he has in common with Ronald Reagan to me is the spending. And all those years, it was never a third party, never a true third party. And Trump came, and now it's the same type of effect. And now you're seeing the faults, the cracks in the fault. That's what I think is happening. It's accelerated. And that was from Twitch. Wow, I got a Twitch comment. Wow, that might be the first one. Thank you for that. I believe that means it came from Twitch. I just stream on Twitch. I don't even have an account really other than this. The bombastic rapscallion says, again, world politics has everyone looking inwards at the little things. Meanwhile, events tick on. Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. Both Reagan and Trump were once Democrats. Reagan was a California Democrat at that, Hollywood Democrat. They hate that. They don't like when you switch over. But I don't think there was true beef with Reagan, though. Reagan was not a third party dude. Bush wasn't. Not. So there was beef with him, but it's within the organization type beef. Kind of like if people on the non-elite have beef. So there was no true beef with Reagan. The true beef came when Trump came down that escalator. When Trump came down that escalator, that's when the true beef came. But good point. Thank you, tomorrow. This is another one of those moments. They keep on happening. A moment that will go down in the ages. I'll be doing some reactions to see what Salty and others say. Salty's going to be acting a fool. Actually, here's one of my favorite Salty clips. See if I have it on here. It's just one. I was ending a lot of my videos with it. See, hopefully I didn't delete it. Oh no, let me see.
This just happened.
And he's very informational as well. Here's my clip, the rocket fuel. Here's Salty at his best, man, to me.
Motherfuckers, you haven't met us then because we geeked up and crazy and all this nonsense you throwing in our way. That's motherfucking MAGA fuel as far as we're concerned. We take this stupid shit, we turn that shit into fuel rods and we use it as motherfucking rocket fuel.
I play that clip so much. I know. I'm over here lip syncing it with let me hear that one more time.
Motherfuckers, you haven't met us then because we geeked up and crazy and all this nonsense you throwing in our way. That's motherfucking MAGA fuel as far as we're concerned. We take this stupid shit, we turn that shit into fuel rods and we use it as motherfucking rocket fuel.
That's that dude. Everybody has a role, man. Not everybody can do that. He has his role. Salty Army has their role. Eric July has his role. And you know what? Eric July did a reply and he did a thank you. The dude's, just comes across as so humble and grateful, man. Those are attributes you need to see from a leader. Being humble, grateful. And as much as, I'm not against Trump, he could work on the humble. He's got that New York where everything's got to be a fight and I have to present myself as everything's perfect, everything's good. And I think it would do him better. He wouldn't be him if he had a little bit more of humility. But let me show you this video here. Look who came up. This is released today, and I'm talking about the success. Well, let me talk about this. I just did a live on this, and this is a whole different type of live, so it might be a different type of people watching this one. So let me show real quick, and then I'm gonna get to where I'm getting with Eric July, the power of community. Eric July is launching a comic book. Culture is more important than politics. Even if a hypothetical president in a different universe has a crackhead son, and we're seeing information that really should pertain to the American people, and even if that president should have resigned and we are potentially in that universe a clown-ass country for allowing a president like that to walk around like, I still have this job, it's not even close to as important as young Ripa 5'9" launching a comic book, because this is culture. I can talk to my kids about this. I'm not talking to my kids about our corrupt government. I'm talking to my kids about the comic books. And that's how they can learn to think. So let's look at the totals here. So Eric July, and I'm going to get to the point here in a second. Hang with me, because everybody might not be aware of this. And it's more important than anything I've talked about thus far, even the First Amendment, all that. I mean, it ties into it. But he's over 1 million in revenue less than 48 hours after launching a comic book. This is his community and linking with other communities like Salty Cracker. That success, and what I really appreciate about Eric July is that he goes and calls it out and says he's not afraid to say who's helping and who's in this movement with him.
Last day has been insane, and I had to do, of course, a video just to touch base with you all.
Well, let me make sure I share the video, just not just the audio. So he just did this earlier today on his channel. Oh, thank you, Dina Marie, friend of show. We were asking about making sure you're okay. We haven't seen you in a minute. Great to see you. Thank you. She's been around for a while. Appreciate you. Super chat, $20. Dina Marie, I think you're going to like this one.
Last day.
Let me make sure I'm not echoing and bring it back. So Eric July, this is what they're really upset about. Eric July, Salty Cracker and Salty Army really is what I should say, not Salty Cracker. It's like Salty Cracker has fostered the Salty Army and created a culture with his entertainment, comedy, humility, intelligence, and look at the power. Not politically, he has power now to affect culture and small businesses.
Last day has been insane, and I had to do, of course, a video just to touch base with you all. To do what we did in just a day has been something that I just obviously did not anticipate. So the obvious is giving everybody a thanks. My supporters, and especially the supporters, because we blend a lot of our communities together. A lot of folks that watch me also watch some other creatives that have been very supportive of this project and what it is that we're doing with the Riververse. So from everybody from the Geeks and Gamers team to, obviously Friday Night Tights team, Neurotic, as everybody that rocks with Friday Night Tights, Salty Cracker, everybody from the Blaze, of course, that has supported.
Do you hear that? Salty Cracker.
As everybody that rocks with Friday Night Tights, Salty Cracker, everybody from the Blaze, of course, that has supported that Comicsgate. Everybody, I know I'm missing so many people that have shown and thrown their support behind this project, and I appreciate you guys so very much.
That's what you expect to see from a leader, somebody who is worth supporting. That he probably wouldn't agree with this statement, but I think that takes courage. For him, someone as prominent as him, he does not agree with Salty Cracker on everything politically. I don't know what the percentage would be. It might be, I don't know, 50-50 maybe. It's not, I don't think it's more than 50-50. He's an ANCAP. Salty is not. But that's not the point. There's no need for beef over some of the things we disagree with when there's plenty that we can talk about we agree with. Salty Army can help him. He can help Salty Army. There's no beef there. That's the power of community. That's what they're really scared about. I talked about Elon Musk. I think Elon Musk should work with somebody like Tim Pool, who Tim Pool has talked with the Mind CEO. He's talked with the Rumble CEO. He's talked with the Gab CEO. He's talked with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Trump and all of them. So he can kind of facilitate something where you work together as a community. They see that. And they realize that that's more powerful than Trump. They'll be doing that long after Trump is in the political realm. I'm a comic Dave Smith guy, but if you want to talk about Republicans, I would support DeSantis over Trump. So I don't know how long Trump's political reign is going to last. He'll still be a kingmaker from behind the scenes at worst. But Tim Pool's a young man. Salty is Ripper's a young man. Imagine what they are creating now, that by the next generation, within the 20 years, how big could that grow? They know that. It's a threat. That's what this is about. It's real. It's way bigger than politics. Much respect to Rip. Yes, Tim has not done. He is looking to do an interview with Trump. He's talked about it on the show. I don't know what the format, where, what, because that's going to be more of a controlled thing. I don't see Trump doing it at the compound or wherever, but maybe, who knows? But one thing is, Tim Pool will do it in person, though. I don't think he would do it. I think it would be a one-on-one with Tim Pool. I'm just speculating, but I know they're trying to hook that up. I mean, that's not a surprise to me. He's talked to everyone in the circle: Cash, Navarro, Bannon, Kerry Lake, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and others. And they all rave about Tim, even though they don't all agree. Tim doesn't agree with them on everything. You know, I think Tim could challenge them a little bit more. That's why I would like to see Luke there. I think Tim, like when Kerry Lake was on there, I would like to challenge her a little bit more on certain things. But and Luke Rukowski does that more than Tim, because Tim's trying to run the show. But yeah, it's the power. See you, Gizbo. See you. I'm gonna be out here in a second. End quote, repeat line. They tried to edit that out. This is the Biden reading the teleprompter, and he's read so many teleprompters. It is sad to see that, because it does show mental decline, in my opinion. He's been he's a vet at this. He's not he's been doing this for damn near 50 years. Yes. Ian derails. I think Dina's saying derails. I like Ian, though, because Ian represents someone because Tim is so immersed in the topic matter. So it's Luke and then usually the guests. And Ian has expertise in other areas, and he brings an important perspective. But yeah, I understand that. Tim gets frustrated with it. You could see a little bit. Because if you watch it a lot, you'll see Tim. You like, oh, after Ian says something, Tim's gonna be like, no, that's not what we're talking about. Because Tim really likes to control the flow of the conversation. Yeah, go visit Eric Delai's channel. It's ripaverse.com for the comic book. Even if you're not into comic books, the Twitch comment we got earlier, it said, man, how did America get to this? Man, you can do something as simple as just get a $35 comic book and give it to a nephew. That by itself isn't enough, but it is something. It's not Marvel and DC. It's not Disney. So it is something. But there's so many different things that you can do. 4chan research. You guys killing me. I want to do a video so bad on the guy whose real name is Robert, but it's just I'm trying to do it like, how do I navigate the minefield? Can I do a whole video saying, hypothetically, let's make up a country and just call it Marika. And there's this guy named Robert. He's got this dad named Brandon. Hypothetically, if he were, I don't know, smoking crack every day and doing stuff with prostitutes and sending the pictures to his dad, would you think that was kind of weird? Would you think that would be worth talking to? I don't know what YouTube would do with that. So I might for Rumble, but we'll see. 4chan research division. Y'all play too much. 4chan says it's bigger than politics, but right now politics controls it all. Can we purge these rhinos and legacy power structure in the midterms? I hope so, but I'm nervous. It's going to take time. No, it's not going to happen in one midterm, so not even close. But you can get more. I don't know. We don't know who's real or not until they have to vote. So, for example, if you look at the Senate, I don't think Dr. Oz is real. I think Fetterman's actually a better candidate. But you don't know until they vote. That's how bad I think Oz is. I think Fetterman's better than Oz. So there's a lot of people I got to do more research on, like who's real, who's not. But it's going to be better. I think it's going to be more MAGA influenced. And even if the MAGA level stays the same, there are some things. If MAGA is for real, there are things they can hold up to demand what this is what you would expect the AOCs, the squads, Ilhan Omar, and others to do, but they're not doing because they're fake. So this will be a test of Marjorie Taylor Greene, Gosar, Gates, all of them, to see what they're willing to put on the line to hold things up. And that's why things feel like they're closing in, because the establishment knows that this could be a problem if there is a red wave. That could be a problem for them because MAGA can hold things up. Even though the red wave it's not going to be a MAGA red wave. It's going to be maybe a little bit more MAGA. And there's a lot of fake MAGAs because right now, if you're going to run for office, you have to run as a populist. Nobody on any side really likes corporate stuff anymore. So you're going to see a lot of fake populists. You got to look at the vote. But the culture is more important because it's like planting the seed so that 20 years down the line, you don't lose control. If we don't teach children now to think independently, then they're going to be manipulated as they grow up. So I'm really optimistic when I'm thinking long term. Midterm should be good. We'll see what happens. WWE politics, it's all fake. I agree. 4chan says ultra rare dark MAGA magician. Okay, Brandon Tadaro. So I want you to make up your mind for yourself. Brendan Tadaro says, I've never heard of Salty until this stream. I only heard of Salty in the last 2 years. He's a vet. He's an OG vet. I recommend you check him out. I want you to make your own determination on him. Yep, a ton of fake people running for office, fakes all over the place. And I haven't been too forceful in calling people fakes because I don't know who's real or not. I have to see the votes. I have been saying like, I don't know. I don't think Herschel Walker is for real. That's just me. I'm not going to be against him or fighting against him. I'm definitely not going to be fighting for him because he has not sold me, and I don't live in Georgia, but I'm not sold on him. I'm not sold on Dr. Oz. So for you, Ryan, and I'm going to interpret this as figuratively, it's getting Carrie Lake in there is the first thing. I don't know if Carrie Lake is real or not, but I think she is. So I want to give her that chance. Salty is high energy, man. I don't know what he is impressive. Some people just have a talent for this, and he's one of the best. They demonetized his channel. I don't think he can monetize anything. If I'm not mistaken, I think he is still demonetized. A little while back, he had to wipe all of his channel. He didn't have to, but just they can go back. Google, people don't know, Google can go back to any one of your old videos. So I've got hundreds of old videos that get no views. So I was talking to somebody else about this. I was like, I might have to wipe my old ones. It's high risk, low reward. The videos don't get any views, and YouTube could use them as a justification to give you a strike at any moment. So what's the point of having them up there? Graphene. So we got a lot of Tim Pool fans here. That's a Ian Crossland reference. I don't know much about graphene. He does though. See, Casual Dina's in the chat. I'm gonna be out in a second. Well, I'll hang out and chat. But if you're just joining now, let me send this text real quick. I'll hang out till 3:20. Send a text to my wife real quick. Tell her I'll be done at 3:20. Okay. Thanks for stopping by. If you're just stopping by, they literally played clips of Alex Jones, Tim Pool, and Salty Cracker in the J6 committee hearing. Literally played them. Now it's giving them. So I just showed that comment from Brendan. They're just giving these guys exposure. Now the big deal is they want to get YouTube to cancel them. But these are smart dudes. All these dudes I've referenced, Eric July, Salty Cracker, Alex Jones, they've gone more independent. Tim Pool knows his days on YouTube are not going to be forever. And he's prepared with his own website. Salty Cracker, he ends his live and he gets people over to Rumble. He's the best at that I've seen. I don't think there's anybody better at taking his community from one platform to another, which is extremely hard to do. Not easy. So I think they'll be okay. They got my support 100%. I don't think I've ever given Salty a super chat. I feel kind of bad about that. I don't know why. But that's important. If you can afford it and you can do it, support them. Brendan says definitely will be. I watch Tim mostly, but the more the merrier. Yeah. Let's just say this: if you're a Tim Pool fan and you don't know about Salty's another level. He's another level. I played that clip for people earlier, and I think we need that. He comes real hard. He finds stories that I don't see elsewhere. He's on different message boards and stuff, so he finds a lot of good stories. That the New York story where they had these traffic cops, that's where I got it from, was from Salty Cracker. I never heard of that until him. Casual, I'm trying to think if you would like him. He's more MAGA. I think you would love him, and the dude's talented. I don't know what his background is, but he's almost like a comedian in a way, without sounding like a stand-up guy. Got jokes for ages. I would highly recommend checking him out and making your own decision. I highly recommend him. I put him up there with the best of the best. Yeah, his energy is crazy. I don't know if I know anybody with more energy. I don't think I know anybody more energy than him. Yep. Elijah Schaefer, for those who don't, slightly offensive. Big fan of his too. Eric July's been, when it was You Are Here, he was on there a lot. Yeah, you know what? Ryan Casto says, I'm surprised they haven't used Brandon Tatum. Yeah, I don't think Brandon is as outrageous. I don't think he's that outrageous to use and to put up like that. Officer Tatum is great. He's another just a guy who knows how to entertain throughout the whole show. And that's what I'm trying to learn from people like that. I'm actually learning a lot from Brett, completely left field, but Brett Cooper. She's very good at keeping you engaged throughout. Oz is a mistake, and it makes me. I think Oz might have been the final straw for me with Trump. Not that I'm against Trump, but I don't think he's the right guy. And then Oz, yeah, Oz is. I don't think Oz is the right guy. I think he's a fake. And you can't have the guy of the third party promoting someone who's just kind of. Why are we doing that? I'd rather vote for a Democrat than that. I'm not voting for Oz. I don't like phonies like that. That ain't. Be who you are. Oz is a left-wing Hollywood type dude. And I had nothing against his show. He had a good, his doctor show was a good show. I don't want him representing anyone. Jewel of Aquarius says Tatum is too scary for them because he's black and was a cop. They can't hang. Yep, they probably would want to stay away from that. I don't think they're afraid to do that, but why would you use him and when you could use others? That's for sure. Yeah, you don't want to give they don't want to give a black person with a different ideology more pub. They definitely don't want to do that. He shines the light on both good and bad. He never trusted Pence. Yeah, the thought was going into DC, Donald Trump didn't have any contacts really. Like he didn't have any inside DC type people. Mike Pence, everybody in DC knows Mike Pence. Mike Pence can work with anyone because he's in the uniparty. So I understand why at the time Trump chose him. I mean, obviously that ain't gonna happen now. But at the time, I understand why. Obviously, it turned out to be the wrong decision, but the salty Arby is everywhere. He does the Oh man, power of branding and good stuff. Casual Goat said, "I want to vote for the guy who was talking about." That video. There was a political ad. With a pro to a political ad. And I actually, because I don't like to dramatize. I don't know if does YouTube allow to play that? I don't know, but I'll play it anyway. I'm not trying to monetize this stream, so I don't think it should affect it, but who knows? This is the ad that Casual Goats is referencing. If you haven't seen it, many people might have seen it. Went viral, and that's the point.
Democrats like to say that no one needs an AR-15 for self-defense, that no one could possibly need all 30 rounds. But when this rifle is the only thing standing between your family and a dozen angry Democrats in Klan hoods, you just might need that semi-automatic and all 30 rounds.
So who is that? Is that Jerome? I don't know much about him. I've seen him on Twitter. I do not know much about him. Jerome Davidson. And he tried to invoke kind of the Malcolm X picture on there. The famous picture of Malcolm X with I don't know what type of, I'm not a gun guy, but the gun there looking at the window. In my opinion, I don't know if he did or not. That's what it looked like. I actually was not a big fan of that ad. I'm not against him at all, but I am not for dramatizing the need for self-defense. It is not something to be dramatized. It's not something to be used to make money or political gain on for me personally. But I'm pro 2A, so I'm not going to beef with it. I was going to do a video on it, just didn't get a chance to. Hello from Wichita, Kansas. Man, the internet is great. Christ Lux, thanks. You know what? The Eminem came out with an album. Has anybody seen Eminem's last album cover? The most recent one, it just came out. I saw it through Bryson Gray, one of my favorite dudes, period. Just like he's very similar to Salty Cracker in that he's not afraid. We know there's not room for people right now who are afraid of taking a stand. Even I don't agree with him on everything, doesn't matter. But he's not afraid though, that's for sure. And it can be a strength and a weakness, both. But this is Eminem's new album cover. So Bryson Gray says he's a Christian rapper if you don't know. This is Eminem's new album cover. This is what I'm fighting against. Culture war. Curtain call. And this is demonic. It's literally it's literally demonic representation. And I know it's entertainment and all that, but it's disturbing. Like this person said that too. It's disturbing. And I said, I agree, it's disturbing. And I think people are like, well, it's just hot, it's just making music or whatever. But that symbolism that he's got there, literally, I'm not exaggerating. That's literally demonic symbolism. That's not something I play with. And then somebody replied to me, why wouldn't it be? So look at these weird interactions. So I said, this isn't symbolism you just play around and joke with. And you won't have to agree with that. But you don't understand why I would say that? I mean, many people would disagree with that statement, saying like it's just for monetary gain or whatever. For me, that's not symbolism. There's certain things you don't do there has to be a line. And that basically comes down to, I really don't know how to answer that question. I'm guessing we see the world differently. I don't play games when it comes to good and evil. And the ultimate question is, do you believe in God? That's the ultimate question I have for that person. It's surprising how often or maybe not, that I have to ask that. Mainstream entertainment. Tomorrow says, why is all the mainstream entertainment using the same themes? And that's because they have to. It's all funnel. That's the greatness of the Rippaverse, the comic book. It's a parallel economy that doesn't funnel through that same head of the snake that the entertainment industry is in. And that's why Eric July is in danger. When you see somebody like that having success, Salty Cracker, he's not in that entertainment, that mainstream lane, but he is indirectly through YouTube. So that's why they're trying to say, YouTube, you're not getting your people in line. YouTube is probably like, hey, we start messing around too much with people like Salty and Tim Pool. You know what happens? All that does is big up Rumble. Imagine if YouTube banned Salty Cracker today, right now. A lot of people would be going to Rumble. More people. Tim Pool already has his after show hosted through Rumble. So 320, my wife's going to be looking for me. Got some stuff to handle. I'll be doing I'm going to try to do audio shows while I'm at an undisclosed location for a little bit. One of my favorite guys, Jim Rome, used to say, go into the basement, but I'm already in the basement now. But I'm going to try and do it at least because I won't have a camera set up, but I'll bring a mic. Let's go. If I need to, I'll do a phone. At the end of the day, J6, you know what? Do a couple more segments on them. Do a couple more. J6, I'm going to be out, y'all. J6, use this one in your next hearing.
Motherfuckers, you haven't met us then because we geeked up and crazy and all this nonsense you throwing in our way. That's motherfucking MAGA fuel as far as we're concerned. We take this stupid shit, we turn that shit into fuel rods and we use it as motherfucking rocket fuel.